What's up, guys, and happy Sunday. We have a big one today as we have over 35 to 40 OTC stocks to cover. So we went through the list on Friday. I was like, yeah, okay, it's starting off pretty slow. It'll be nice. We'll have 10, 15. Nope. Late in the day, just got slewed with stocks just running through. Traders just say, hey, let's check this out. Let's check this out. So I love it. Excited about it. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So, a few that we're going to cover today is SRNW, EPAS, Cash had mentioned those, Bearded Trader. So I don't know a lot about these that he put up, but looking at the chart, looking at the fundamentals and so forth, these are some really good stocks. So if you aren't following this guy, definitely give him a follow because these are some underrated ones right here. 2-3 decided to put in this one, GAYMF. So we're not going to talk about that one too much. Great job, buddy. And then we have a bunch of Asta all over the list. BSEG. Let's see what else we got. Joel, great trader. He's got a lot of DD on ACGX. We'll cover a little bit of that one. Lucy, Juicy Lucy, WDRP. We have more Asta, MNGG, IDVV. What else we have? Asta, ASRE, EGIF, SAPEX, ELRO, GCLT, D-Man. Didn't find too much on MCIC and E-Tech. It's kind of one of those ones that just, they've been working on their merger for forever. And once it finally happens, could be a good one. And I think they had relation to NUGN, don't they? If I'm wrong, definitely correct me down in the comments. But I know they've been working on that merger for eons. And, people are still waiting like, what's going on, guys? And then, we have GEGI news, which same thing with GEGI. The company kind of shot themselves in the foot and they said, hey, we don't care too much about that. We have a lot going on. We're working on it and we'll get to it, but it's not going to happen overnight. So that really kind of upset some people because at the same time, the beginning of the week, they said it's going to be a great week. We're working on a lot of stuff. And then at the end of the week, they're like, it might take a little bit longer than expected. So, we cover that one shortly, but there's not too much going on currently than what they had said. We have NHYF, HIRU, which we've talked about a lot, ACGX. Couldn't find too much on SSII, OSCI, ATBHF. So I don't know too much about foreign stocks. I really don't. And I know Condor Lizard always posts them, so I'm going to highlight his on down here and put them on a watch list. We talk about CEOs a lot. Asta again, Asta. Lee's, this one's cool because it had the S4 drop. RBSH, low float. Couldn't find too much on it. So Greenback, please put in the comments, if you have any good DD on it. And then as I stated, Condor Lizard, tons and tons of, whether it's lithium stocks, mining stocks, and so forth, a lot of F stocks. So definitely put some of these on your radar. The one I was looking at that I think that somebody posted up here, ATBHF. So this one actually made a pretty nice move recently, so I'm definitely keeping an eye on that one. Let's see, we have IVFH, MVNT, and then we have more Asta, MRGE. Couldn't find too much on that. Asta, DFCO, ARSE, MRES, INND, and more Asta. So we got a lot to cover today. A lot of good ones in here, a lot of good DD, and I'm going to try and do quick snippets of every single one I can find. If I can't find too much on it, I'll definitely state it, but let's go ahead and jump into the video. All right, we are starting off OTC Speedrun 3.0. We're starting with SRNW. So this one had a really nice move, and I think it's going to continue based on what we've seen. But, just looking at the chart here, and if we look at the 1 month, the 3 month, the 6 month, the 9 month. Now, I know this had an issue when it had the forward split and it opened up at this price, and then all of a sudden nobody could figure out what was happening. But, just looking up here, as far as 37, it's always had trouble right around this 28 area where you can see all these wicks are popping up. And a lot of people are saying it's being shorted. And I know the whole OTC stocks and the algo shorting and, this and that. But, I'll post it here. So they had said the court has set August 16th to hear the motion to cancel 38 million shares of SRNW. As no opposition has been filed, we foresee no obstacles in having the court order the cancellation. So that's a good one as well. But, looking over here, so I'd started talking about it, and it loves to push through these EMAs, but I'd started talking about it, was it like 18, 19 cents, pushed up through 27, closed over 30. But the cool thing is this little hidden snippet. I am advised an acquisition. The company is presently pending, which is being delayed due to the unresolved issues of Stratos stock. So, are they going to announce a merger after the share cancellation is done? I know they had talked about a possible another forward split as well, so we want to see if that kind of pops through. But if they already have an asset ready to be taken over, that company might say we don't need one. So definitely keep an eye on that. And then we talk about it here. Armin kind of posts, talking about the short frame and so forth, and how much of the stock's been shorted daily. And then I've seen it everywhere. Everybody's like, hey, 543,000 out of 655,000 was shorted today. So even if it's due to an algorithm, just ASCM or whoever, CSTI. So this could potentially, kind of like if you're playing with ACM a little bit, push the stock, and then they could start taking the ask. So there is a possibility this could be a quote-unquote OTC short squeeze. So we're just getting started. We have another week until the cancellation. So once the cancellation is complete, people are going to be looking and saying, hey, what's the next step? So we want to see if the SRNW Twitter keeps updating us, but so far so good. Expecting it to continue this week, as we just look back at the chart. It's had trouble in this 28 area. If we get over 30s, up to 38 and so forth, I think it can make a nice move. Some people are saying it's going back to $1. We'll see. Let's get the share cancellation done, and then let's see if they start hinting at merger and or acquisitions. So this is one of the ones from Bearded Trader, TGCP. So I don't know anything about this stock. But I was looking at it, I was looking at the 3-month, and I was like, wow, this thing's starting to curl. It looks really good. And then, I was looking, so he likes to play low floats. The few that he had posted up, we had that one. They're definitely doing some updates back in July, so we'll probably look for some more. And then the next one was Caffey. So this thing, same thing, it's made some big moves. Looks like it wants to start curling up, so that's also a good one. And same thing, they talked about their subsidiaries back in July, so they should have news coming as they generally update every few months. So look for some more updates here in August. Another one's BLMS 0069. As you can see, the moves that this thing has made in the past. Now look at the share structure. 300K market cap. This is a 12 mil float under a penny. So if this thing gets news, I don't know. I don't even know what they do. It doesn't matter what they do. If it gets buying pressure, it's going to fly. So RRT, couldn't find too much on that one, but just looking back, the same thing. Made a nice candle right here after it had some downside. So let's see if it continues to push back up into 02 range. And then this is RRT, same thing. Share structure, 1 mil market cap, 27 mil float. So these are some gems. People need to pay attention to these more. Then Cash had also mentioned EPAS. So with EPAS, they make some prolific runs. They do have some debt, they have some dilution, but this is the weekly chart here. We're almost getting back down to this bottom range of 0025. If it doesn't get buying pressure to send it back up, but 0045 would be the next MA, and then 57, 72. And then we look here at the daily, and as you can see, it's just been on a downtrend. So could this be the candle that puts in a reversal right here? As you can see the wick coming down, as it had this gap, it looks like it's being filled now. Doesn't look like too much dilution. Accumulation's okay, but I think they just need buying pressure. Now from the company, they said last week, Zenadrone has received a letter of support from the U.S. Air Force. There are several opportunities in the U.S. military that Zenadrone has been focusing on and preparing the company for. So I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if it's me, I'm one of those people that like to accumulate. Even if it's slow as possible, just accumulate bottom, just collect your bids, because this stock can move. And if they even say anything with the Air Force, if they're like, hey, guess what? We have another meeting with the Air Force to solidify an agreement, a contract. We're working on this. We have a DOD, it doesn't matter what it is. So once they start putting out news in that spectrum, in that realm, it's going to flock. So keep an eye on that one. So I'd like to thank 23 for putting this one out. This is GAYMF. We're not going to cover it too much today. Looks like it's Galway Metals. I know it's kind of like a meme stock, but it is bottoming out around here, and maybe it'll put a reversal here soon. So now Asta. So this is the big one. This is the one that everybody's been talking about because for so long it wasn't pink current. It went into expert market, and then it came back from the dead. They had some filing issues. They finally got pink current again. Then it went back to yield. Now they're pink current again, but now they're like, hey, we hired an IR team, and it's time. Like, this is the story is being built now. So they said, forward and no going back, Estrevera shareholders, pink current status, brace yourselves for an exhilarating adventure. We have much to share and anticipate an official PR every week for the next 3 to 4 months. So this thing is going to be humming all the way through Christmas. And, you have a PR every single week. We don't know exactly what they're going to be sharing on it. But, as promised, back to pink current, immediately audit ready. They're poised to unveil updates on diverse revenue streams. Legal battle team unified, PE investment lining up. And then, this as far as the chart. I'd say the only downside is the share structure, being that it's, a little bit on the heavier side. But accumulation is very strong. I know there's people that have hundreds of millions of shares and they don't plan on selling anytime soon. But what I want to see from the Astafarians and just anybody is buying pressure. So, it only gets maybe 5 to 8 million a day, sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more. But, with a stock with this size, you need to have continuous buying pressure. So I think it'll continue to get walked up. As we're looking at the chart here, it has small, tiny candles, it's small volume, kind of pulled down, but it's been humming along this green, the 50 MA. So as long as the 50 MA can start pulling up and maybe have a cross into 60s, it can make a nice move. So what it sounds like is that it's just the beginning of the story, just getting started. And they're going to have a PR every week for 3 to 4 months. That is what OTC wants. They want communication. They want to know updates. They want to know revenue. They want to know acquisitions, partnerships. And it looks like they're about to do all of it. So this could be a gem. It really could. So, it's been slowly walked up in the 50s. I want to see it back into this area in the 65s, breaking the 70s, back to a penny. So let's see if they can come up with that. And then this was their latest PR. As we celebrate the promised milestone, we're thrilled to unlock the potential of our revenue streams and share the progress that we've made. Our shareholders can anticipate a series of productive business updates that highlight the innovative value to investors that fuels our amazing rocket ship. Yes. I know TXTM had the the eggplants. Asta's, they got everything else. They had Yoda riding a elephant, and now they're talking about the rocket ship. So this is fun. It's relaxed. They're going to be active. They communicate. So it looks really good. Next one, DFCO. And I know, I don't remember his name, Homer Simpson had actually posted this, and he said, hey, it's going to have buying pressure in the 20s. And I'll just kind of pop back to that one for a second for what he put. DFCO, where are you? All right, I think it was towards. And it had a lot to do with the revenue. And he was like, hey, check this out. Here it is. So, he was talking about the price targets and investment opportunity of a lifetime, 18-page research report. Now, I'm not sure if this is from the company themselves, but it says Dalrada revenue are projected to increase $220 million and profits to $57 million by 2026. As expected, a share price between $19 and $38 for 2026, depending on which industry multiple is added. So I don't know anything about this company, but I know if there's a research report saying this company is supposed to be dollars, I'm going to check into it. And then let's see if we can pull it back here. Let's see, Asta. All right, so DFCO. So as you can see, broke downside, had huge upside. It's kind of topping out around 18 and 19, kind of lost on buying pressure. And then as you see, it's back down. Now, volume's starting to die a little bit. So, if volume picks back up, let's look for it to go back to 20s. They had said, hey, look, this could be a nice move. Once it breaks into this 20 area, sky's the limit. So the next one is BSEG. Definitely a low float. You could tell by the candles. A lot of hollow candles, not a lot of volume. So, it's just being tapped up, more or less painted. Accumulation's very strong. And, this is their Twitter, big screen buzz. And they said that they're taking the steps towards a bright future. And then they talked about, let me see. Oh, here it is. Making an online presentation to the investment community and emerging growth conference on August 10th. So a lot of people might walk this one up into 3 to 5 range. We'll see if it gets the volume. But I know a lot of people, if they've been quiet for a little while, are going to want to know what's the next step. And I think they had mentioned a new CEO, or that might have been another one of the other ones on here. Hollywood grinds sinister, trailblazing talent, big screen, while supporting the striking actors and writers, yada, yada, yada. So, definitely check out this PR for yourself. Go and read it over. But August 10th, they're going to have that little conference going. And then WDRP. This has made some nice moves in the past. It's a good share structure. Company's a little spotty. They kind of changed it around a little bit. They were talking about the EV sector. But I think they confuse holding company, and if they just came out and said we want to be a holding company, we want to be into multiple avenues, it would kind of share over a little bit better. But going through here, they have a share cancellation coming up. They talk about it here. Anticipated we would complete in 2 steps starting at 50 mil this week, followed by another 50 mil when the paperwork is done. Then they said almost immediately after we posted this, yada yada. The entire 100 mil share will be sent to the transfer agent for cancellation next week. Then work on an update next week to address the share cancellation and near-term business plan. So I know they're kind of getting into the AI health sector. I'm not sure if it's going to be app-related, but definitely keep them on your radar because anytime share cancellation runs through, especially in a low float, tends to move. Lucy. So my buddy Data posted this. So Lucy had that offering, but they had talked about a lot of big things heading into the new year. So I know some people are going to be accumulating this in the the 80-cent range, and it made a little move. Just on news up to like 94, got shorted down, didn't have a lot of volume. But as you can see, Lucy, and this isn't an OTC, it loves to fill its gaps. So gap, 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 but it also likes to fill them to the upside. So gap, gap. So will this fill? Yes, probably. I'm not a financial advisor, so don't come knocking on my door. Could it die down? Could it take forever? Sure. Could they maybe go into a reverse split? I mean, it's a good, decent share structure, down the line. But looking into the new year, they talk about Reebok, the partnership and so forth. So we're not going to talk about that one too much. But either way, let's see if it can fill the gap between now and the new year when they start pushing out that big news. ACGX, Joel talked about this one. As you can see, it's getting walked up. Now, I thought this float, I was looking at it, I was like, okay, so it's trading, 40 cents, 45, 50 cents. I thought it was going to have probably like a 34 mil market cap. And I was like, yeah, okay, it's probably in the range of 20, 30 mil float. Look at this thing. This thing has a 1.5 million market cap. They already have 4 mil in assets on the books, okay? So this is one of their subs, and they have a few different things going on as far as a holding company. But, they had talked about, it's being at the Chicago Cubs, Wrigley Field, or 12-ounce cans are perfect. So they're into that like wine spritz era, and they talk about NASCAR. So they have a lot going on. Right now, it seems like they're in that kind of like marketing and growth phase. But this thing is a 2 mil float. 2 mil. So 2.5 mil. If, float's probably outdated. So crazy. So if they say, hey, we got a partnership with the MLB, we're going to be selling our, rows at all locations, it's going to fly. I mean, if retail got behind this, they could easily rock this thing up to dollars. So keep an eye on ACGX. They have a lot coming, and Joel has a really good DD on it. MNGG. So they just recently announced their merger, which was lithium, but it's an exploratory merger. So, definitely follow their Twitter. And the only thing I wanted to know, great merger, everybody loves lithium mergers, is, who's going to fund it? So are they already bringing this asset on the books? Is it already a company taking over? Are they going to do financing? Because generally when you have an exploratory merger for lithium, it's going to take some money. So, are they going to do a Reg A? But if not, if the company's already established and coming on board and ready, this could be huge. So, I want to see a little bit more detail. IDVV, we've covered this one a lot. A lot of past videos because it loves to move. Good share structure. The only thing is it does have some debt. So, when it does make big moves, sometimes once it loses volume, it tends to fall off a little bit. But they said they anticipate providing an update sometime tomorrow, Monday. So July, we'll have to see if they already did. And then, I kind of went to their website and we talked about their services. And then, they have clean and artificial intelligence. So the sector is perfect. The share structure is good. The communication's good. Let's just see something a little bit more substantial happen. ASRE. Don't know anything about this stock other than I started looking into it. I know a few people, Frank started talking about it last week. And then, we're looking here at the weekly, and this thing used to be dollars, $1.50, $2, $3 in the past year and a half, 2 years. And right now, it came down all the way to 10 cents. It's moving back up. It's always had trouble in this area, this 20 to 25 area, as you can see straight across. But once it breaks through, it can see 35, 40 cents, no problem. It does have a nice share structure. And then, just looking at the daily or back at the weekly, the same thing. So now they're Astra Energy, and they apparently are doing, let me see if this was a merger August 4th or an acquisition. The Clean Renewable Energy Park project will include waste to energy. And I should have known Frank would be on this. I mean, because, he loves CLNV. So, and then you have this one, ASRE, which is kind of in the same realm of renewable energy, clean and so forth. But, the potential is huge. I don't know the revenue. I don't know too much about it. So I'm going to have to dig a little bit deeper. But just looking at the chart itself, it's definitely getting accumulated. So, just looking at the weekly, if they can push through this 25, 38 area, I mean, 50 cents, or more. So I don't know the timetable and, how long the project's going to take, but it could be a good one. All right, GSAC, Trader's Dream. I know a lot of people love to trade this stock, and, TRIPS, for a reason, it does have some debt. They did come out and they had communicated, back in March, and then they kind of fell off a little bit. And so since March, it's kind of just getting channel flipped. But if they come back, with this, they had mentioned this back in, March, that, let's see, development stage, consumer healthcare products, doesn't matter what it is, new engineering division, one tweet, it's gone. It's going to fly. In the past, the same thing, boom, 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 001. So if you can get 004, trip 4, trip 5, and just hang on to it for a bit, it'll be a good one. EGIF. EGYF. So I remember the stock, and it's getting walked up, sneakily. I caught that. Accumulation all-time high. But, they have a lot of updates coming out. I started looking through this. Now they're talking about their solar box, the superpower box, as I would call it. Energy re-engineered. So it's definitely getting walked up. Looks like they have a lot of news in the pipeline. So keep an eye on that one. It's a pretty decent share structure as well. 15 mil market cap, 60 mil float. E-Tech. Same thing. Not too much really to cover. It's one of the ones you just accumulate and wait. It'll happen eventually. I'm sure, every OTC company has its day. SAPX, they said big updates are coming. Haven't seen anything yet. So, if you can get trip 4, should pay off. ELRO. Now, I know ELRO, I posted it here. They had an offering, was it in the beginning of the year? A pretty big one, too. A lot of shares. The offering was done at 0005, but I think the offering might be done soon. I don't know for sure, but, I'll have to look at, I think they updated the TA recently, too. Let me see if I put it on here. Nope, doesn't put it on here. But accumulation is starting to nose up a little bit. If they were active, would be great. If they say, hey, offering's done, everybody understands, hey, no more dilution. When offerings get finished, people love them because then they're like, hey, this is bottom. GCLT, we've covered this one in the past as well. It loves to move, good share structure, gorgeous share structure, actually. But, there's just not a lot of anticipation buying. It's more just people collecting. And then when they do put out news, they do have say, hey, look, we added more customers, we added more banks. So it's probably a good long-term stock based on the share structure and their growth. So if you can accumulate, down 3, 4, 004. And I remember this thing ran, 5 cents last year? I know a chairman got behind that. D-Man. So I don't know too much about it currently, other than they have a new CEO. But I do remember last year they said was a $390 million valuation from Stan Park Advisors, and this thing flew. I mean, it ripped pennies. So could it do it again? Sure. Let's see what they bring out with the new CEO. NHYF. So this is a Synergy merger, and if everybody has played Synergy in the past, they were the staple. They were the merger company. They had some big mergers come out of Synergy management. They don't like to deal with BS companies, so it has a good share structure. As you can see, it's getting walked up. 270 mil float or OS, and they're canceling 100 million shares from the restricted. So it's getting walked up for sure. And as they say here. To go pull up Synergy. Received confirmation attorney is working on a petition for the courts to cancellation over 100 million shares. I'm hoping to get things submitted to the courts next week. And then, let's see, talks are ongoing. I know identified a potential candidate for a change of control and new direction for the company. Agreements are out and being reviewed for the attorney. So OTC loves speculation. This should continue to get moved up, and then we'll see what kind of merger they want to bring, to the company. And then as far as HIRU, we cover this thing since the beginning of the year. We always cover it. It's a great company, great growth, and they proved that by saying financial revenues $7.7 million for the quarter, net income of $2.4 million, 415% increase in top line revenue compared to the 3 months ended at 6/30. 1.8. So massive growth. They have new customers coming. They are going to continue to keep growing and just beating all odds. Just looking at the chart, it looks like maybe a lot of people who bought down here trimmed out because it has trouble. It's like, hey, it's getting ready to leg up, and then it's just like, you see 3-4 mil walls, accumulation goes down a little bit, but let's see if we can hold it in the 50s and start moving up, when the new customers are announced. OSCI, pulled back on the weekly just to show you the moves that this thing can make in the 20s, 24. It hit like 42 cents or 38. I don't remember what it was. But they're active again. They said rain or shine. Team continues to prepare for the launch. We're pleased to inform value shareholders that the first of multiple press releases this month will be out early next week. So they will have a PR out this week. They talked about they want to address the pink current, that they're working on change of control, more footage, additional equipment's arriving. So this is what everybody wanted last year. They wanted this to happen. It did not happen. They went quiet. So now it's kind of like, what happened in between then? So let's see if they issue a PR stating, hey, this is where we're at now. We apologize, but we're going to be a super $1 million company and buy our stock. But look at this. I mean, they're putting out the footage. They're putting out communication. So this is a good one. Looking at the weekly chart, it's slowly getting accumulated. As you can see, it still has some selling down here at 02. So if you can catch some of this, it immediately gets painted back up. So, keep an eye on that one. But let's see what the PR is. We'll cover it again this week once we see what the PR comes through. Lee's, so this had a big merger announcement, was it back in June? And then we talk about this, a new medical, and then, their business combination with the Redwoods acquisition. It's going to be, a NASDAQ spinoff. And then, kind of died off a little bit, basically looking at the chart. It's like, okay, who knows when that's going to happen? Well, Friday, the S4 hit after hours, kind of going through the process. So I'm expecting this one to have a pretty nice day tomorrow. CEOs, we've been covering this one, basically every week since 02 or 025, 03. It's getting walked up. They've had some news basically stating Vetcom appoints accomplished operations management expert as COO to drive organizational success as it continues its growth plan. So, we talked about how much revenue they could be producing. We know their financials are going to be coming up in a couple weeks. So let's see, if the money's on the paper. We want to see how much growth they have put, in the past 6 months since the merger. MVNT, it's getting walked up. As you can see, you had a double top here, push through, and then, it's starting to consolidate here around 0.15 to 0.18. And then, I started looking at the company, and it, basically says, our international team has booked another order of valves, and then they're constantly putting out good updates. So I can see why it's getting walked up completely under the radar. Like, everybody needs to pay attention to this because they said, brief overview of our solution architecture, many announcements to follow. So tons more news is coming. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye on this one next week and, for the rest of the year. IVFH, thing pushed up, as you can see, double topped here, and then it curled up, bang, pushed all the way through, and then to hold an investor call August 10th. So this is kind of like the one we talked about in the past, DFCO. They're going to have another investor call. So keep an eye on that one, see what they have coming, and, I remember looking at this stock was a couple years ago. It put some big numbers up. MRGE, couldn't find too much on this. So definitely put down in the comments, what it is about it that's so strong. But I could see the big move it made. And then you can see here, it's kind of forming almost like a wedge bull flag. And then see if we can pop back up and curl into this area. And then we have MRES. So this made, 300% move off bottom, and now it's kind of coming down, had some either dilution or some shareholders selling, off profit taking. Who knows exactly what it was, but now it's starting to consolidate in this area. And then I'll play a little snippet from the CEO.
I'm trying to get you the sun in the background. I don't think you want to see me anyway. You'd prefer to see that beautiful sunset. This is from Camps Bay in Cape Town. Very quick update. I'm on my way to Joburg. As you know, I was in Kenya last week. Visited with the tea farms, everything. We have a proposal going out to them by the 10th of this month. So that's fantastic. Look at that. That sun is just spectacular. Next week, I'll be at our new labs, the Phytomedicine Research Labs at the University of Pretoria. That is the M2 Biolabs, one of the most advanced labs in the entire continent, not just South Africa. I will be at our chocolate manufacturer, lots going on there. I will be meeting with Ziev, of course, on the JDAX. Ziev will have an important announcement to make next week, which is going to be unreal. All sorts.
So I won't play the whole thing, but you get the idea. Tons of news coming. Based on what he's saying, it sounds like there's going to be Ziev. So the thing is, I have no clue and I know it's like pharmaceutical, and they do CBD, they do mushrooms and everything else. But it sounds like there's going to be news coming from all angles, and they're very busy. They're expanding. So, and it's one of the ones that hit almost 3 cents, and now you're getting it at a discount. So definitely keep an eye on this one. Follow M2 Biosciences and then the CEO as well. That way you can see the announcements coming out next week. INND. So this one has always made some strong runs in the past. They had a massive offering for expansion. They're like, hey, we're going to get, I can't remember if it was 25 to 50 locations, and they're going to be expanding huge. I mean, massive. So they had a big offering, and now it's back down around 0010. Accumulation starting to curl up. So once that offering's done and they're like, hey, we've completed our offering, this could make a really nice move. So I probably will be accumulating this one if I can get 0008, like trip 8s, just because I know in the past their revenue's strong, their growth, as far as the hearing is, they're in Walmarts, they're Walgreens, and everywhere. So to get a stock with this much growth in trips, it's good. Just kind of keep it in your back pocket. So I'll be keeping an eye on that one as well. And then, as we look at the market cap, it might have already hit. So you can see the TA updated recently. Thanks for sticking around for the super long video. So we covered a lot of good ones, a lot of catalysts coming up with these stocks, a lot of really good charts shaping up. So if you have any questions, definitely leave them down in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And, thanks again to all the traders who put this in the list so we can kind of talk about it a little bit and say, hey, this person has this because of this and this and that. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next one.